The story unfolds with Emily, a young woman wandering through a mysterious woodland landscape. We're then transported back in time, revealing Emily and her husband Andreas driving to an old, weathered house nestled deep in the forest. Emily's past is marked by loss. Her parents' death forced her to become fiercely independent. Together with Andreas, she inherited her father's business, but financial struggles now threaten their livelihood. Desperate for a solution, the couple makes a heart-wrenching decision, selling Emily's childhood home. They hope the proceeds will breathe new life into their struggling business and ease their mounting financial pressure. As Emily explores the familiar rooms, waves of nostalgia wash over her. Childhood memories dance around her, happy moments frozen in time, yet her resolve remains unshaken. One afternoon brings an unexpected visitor, Jacob, Emily's younger brother, who has been studying abroad. Their reunion is long awaited, filled with anticipation. However, the moment Jacob meets Andreas, something shifts. His demeanor turns cold, and he retreats to his room, pointedly avoiding any interaction with his brother-in-law. Later that night, Jacob mysteriously seeks out Emily, noting a change in her usual vibrant spirit. His sudden appearance leaves her bewildered. The next morning, Emily and Andreas launch a determined effort to sell the house. Andreas begins reaching out to potential buyers, but the local market proves challenging. Connections are scarce and interest is minimal. Despite their best attempts, no sale materializes. With hope dwindling, Andreas must travel to the city for a crucial client meeting. After a tender goodbye with Emily, he sets out, leaving her alone in the quiet, memory-laden house. Jacob's life stands in stark contrast to Emily's. He's a professional skateboarder living a seemingly carefree existence, constantly traveling between cities. During one of his street rides, he ducks into a local store and catches a startling newspaper headline: "A black panther has been spotted in the area." Local authorities are sounding the alarm, warning residents to stay indoors due to the potential danger. Stepping outside, Jacob unexpectedly collides with Andreas. Their encounter is tense as Andreas implores Jacob to look after Emily during his absence. However, Jacob's nonchalant attitude only intensifies Andreas's frustration. The interaction hints at underlying tensions between the two men. Back at the house, Jacob finds Emily meticulously cleaning and sorting through belongings she plans to discard. Their conversation reveals deeper emotional currents. Jacob expresses feeling neglected, while Emily passionately reassures him of his importance in her life. She listens intently as he shares the Panther news, warning her to remain cautious while in town. Loneliness envelops Emily after Andreas's departure. She throws herself into work, her emotions a complex tapestry of missing her husband and grappling with unresolved feelings toward her brother. That night, in an unsettling moment, Jacob watches her from the stairs as she changes, his gaze lingering with an undefined intensity. The next morning, sensing Emily's isolation, Jacob decides to reconnect. In the garage, he discovers his father's old motorcycle, a forgotten treasure in need of repair. Hours pass as he lovingly restores the bike, ultimately inviting Emily to join him on a nostalgic ride. Their journey takes them through breathtaking mountain landscapes, quiet roads flanked by towering trees. Stopping amidst the serene wilderness, they share a moment of genuine connection. Jacob opens up about missing her, expressing joy at their reunion. Emily reciprocates, revealing her own longing to recapture the close bond they once shared as siblings. While walking through the forest, Jacob shares a poignant memory about his and their father's unfulfilled dream of climbing a mountain together. His words carry a sense of wistful disappointment, revealing the lingering impact of lost opportunities. During household chores the next day, Emily discusses her and Andreas's plan to sell the house. She explains their financial struggles and the necessity of selling their family home. Jacob listens silently, his emotions concealed behind a stoic exterior. As they work side by side, a palpable tension builds between them, their bodies unexpectedly close. The narrative then delves into their complicated past. We learn that Emily and Jacob's relationship was left unresolved years ago, during their parents' lifetime. Their walk through the woods takes an unexpected turn, as Emily experiences a profound and forbidden romantic attraction to Jacob. Despite being married and Jacob being her younger brother, she begins to fantasize about a life together. Their intimate moment is abruptly interrupted by hunters searching for the Black Panther Jacob had read about earlier. Remarkably, neither sibling shows fear of the dangerous wildlife. Instead, they decide to seek shelter together in the woods, spending the night in close proximity. At sunrise, they wake together, greeted by a serene morning that brings Emily a sense of calm. They attempt to fulfill Jacob's childhood mountain climbing dream, but Emily's fatigue prevents them from reaching the summit. Resting on the rocks, they soak in the breathtaking landscape. As evening descends, they return to their childhood home. The day's emotional journey culminates in a charged moment when Emily approaches Jacob's bedroom. The tension between them escalates, leading to a tender and intimate exchange where they finally express their deep, complicated feelings for each other. Over the following days, Emily and Jacob's connection deepens dramatically. They become inseparable, experiencing an intense bond that seems to shut out the rest of the world. In a pivotal moment, Jacob directly asks Emily if she loves him. Her response is passionate and immediate. She begins kissing him with unbridled emotion. Their intimacy continues as they venture to a nearby lake, swimming together in a scene that symbolizes their growing connection. During a peaceful moment in a sunlit field, Andreas calls to check on Emily. She deliberately ignores the call, her focus entirely on Jacob, who has now become the center of her emotional universe. Returning home, they encounter a middle-aged man interested in purchasing the house. To Jacob's surprise, Emily suddenly becomes reluctant to sell. She redirects the potential buyer to contact Andreas, signaling a significant shift in her previous plans. That night, Emily seeks Jacob in his room, their emotional and physical connection intensifying. They share an intimate moment, falling asleep in each other's arms. The following morning brings tension when Jacob refuses to sign the house sale documents. Emily becomes frustrated, and Jacob begins to suspect she might be manipulating him for her own purposes. A heated argument erupts, fracturing their previously intense connection. Despite Emily's desperate attempts to explain herself, Jacob remains adamant. He suggests selling the house to avoid further contact, a proposal that leaves Emily devastated. As she weeps in the backyard, Jacob decides to leave, creating a heart-wrenching separation. Left alone, Emily is torn between her deep feelings for Jacob and the financial necessities of her marriage. The need to sell the house to support her and Andreas's business weighs heavily against her newfound emotional awakening. The next morning, Andreas wakes Emily with news of a potential house buyer. As they begin packing, Jacob unexpectedly returns. He moves silently through the house, gathering his belongings and signing the sale papers with a sense of finality. Emily's emotional dam breaks. She chases after Jacob, crying and desperately kissing his neck. However, Jacob remains emotionally detached, unmoved by her passionate plea. Andreas witnesses their interaction, immediately recognizing the profound, complex nature of Emily and Jacob's relationship, something far beyond typical sibling affection. Despite Emily's emotional outburst, Jacob leaves. In the final haunting scene, Andreas comprehends Emily's true emotional landscape. Although she agrees to sell their childhood home, Emily knows her connection with Jacob transcends physical separation. Her forbidden love remains unbroken. In a powerful closing moment, Emily ventures into the woods, determined to find her brother once more, symbolizing her unwavering commitment to their relationship.